guys, today I'm gonna be doing the oil change and the oil filter change because last time Nico was doing it, and yeah, we usually alternate, so he's doing one time, I'm doing one time. The engine is now 209 hours run since the last oil change, so we're 9 hours overdue, which is not so bad. We're usually keeping the information in our logbook so we can look up exactly when the change is due. It's a lot easier for me to work from this side of the engine than to crawl from the back, so I'm just gonna take this bit off here. Way more space.
Into the wild again. Tell me when does it end? Hide under the shadow of the morning. Into the break of dawn, we are gonna carry on. Covered by the daylight, it's alright. We are pushing head on, all your worries be gone. We are running straight out into the wild. Follow the dance.
So I got all my stuff here. The tool to remove the oil filter, and the oil itself for our Janma 4JH3E, and it takes 1540. I believe it takes about 4.5 liters, and you usually get a 4 liter canister and then you get 1 liter and then you're left with about 500 milliliters. But yeah, and my trusty hand pump. Okay, I'm just gonna remove the oil cap so the oil can run out more easily. We used to have an electrical pump. It made it really easy, but unfortunately somebody stole it from us in Tunisia. We were looking for it all over, but yeah, it's gone. Anywho, this is gonna go on the side where the dipstick goes, and then I will have to hand pump the oil out. Let's not make a mess. Right in here, and then I'm just going to pump it from the front because there is an air draft in front of the engine and it's very hot in here in this room actually. I'm not sure how long I have to pump it for. The electrical pump was usually done within 15-20 minutes, but I think it was more powerful than this little hand pump. But let's see. In the front should be okay because in here it's just way too hot. For this I'm gonna remove the oil filter, but I'm gonna do this first. My idea of pumping it here in front where there's a bit more of air, cool air passing through, didn't work out. This pump, the pipe, I made it longer, and now it needs too much pressure to, when I pump it out, to come over here. So this pipe collapses actually. So yeah, good idea, didn't work. I have to undo this and see how much of a mess I'm gonna be making. Try not to spill oil everywhere. This was not a good idea. Okay, so this is not how you're doing it. I made it longer, and yeah, no, I can't do it from here. It doesn't work. I'll put the pump back together the way it was before. So it's not a good idea to put an extension on it. It's coming out really slowly. Electrical one was way easier, but it is coming out. Yeah, slowly, but it is. This is really exhausting actually. Been here for 5-10 10 minutes and I've only got this much. For everyone who's doing this in normal temperatures, I envy you. It seems about 38 degrees in this cabin. Full of oil. This pump is not the best. 10 minutes later, still more than half to go, way more than half to go. But now I'm in it, so there's no turning back. I'm reaching the end. Only took about 35 minutes of hand pumping. But I think that should be about it. Right. This is all I got. I hope I have it all. May have spilled a little bit on the floor. It's taken me a lot longer than anticipated. I was hand pumping and then all of my cameras died. And now it's nearly dinner time. The sun is about to set. I'm just gonna stuff this nappy underneath the engine. Because once I remove the oil filter, it's gonna make a big mess. This is the filter I have to remove. So if I don't put all of this underneath here, it will just spill out and go all into the engine bay. And at the moment it's nice and clean. I've not tried this tool before, but this is supposed to work without actually breaking the filter, because what we did before is jam a screwdriver in there and then take it off. I actually got some indentations here. It's like a groove and the rest of it is round, so I believe I have to put the tool over here, otherwise it would just keep slipping. No, it's still slipping. Turns out you have to lead the whole thing with the other hand, because otherwise it just keeps slipping. And here we are. Yay. Jeez, how long is this screw? Here we are. So much oil coming out. Okay. We always try to keep a spare in the boat, because you never know. Now this is gonna be our spare, the old one. Fresh new filter. Now let's hope this is the right one. So I'm just gonna take a tiny little bit of oil from the old one, put it around the rim so I create a seal, so when I put it on, it works, I guess. Right, and here we are with the new filter. Now let's hope that it fits, because I think one time we bought one and it was not the right one, and then we were in a little bit of a pickle. But now at least we have the old one still, so if this one should not work, we can still put the old one back on. But it looks pretty good to me. Actually looks exactly like the old one. I couldn't tell by now which one is the old one. Well, the old one's full of oil. But yeah. Actually the most difficult thing wasn't that getting the oil out, it was the hand pump for 35 minutes. It's actually getting this filter on, because I have to put it on by hand. My hands are full of oil now, so I'm not able to tie it up. Oh yeah, jeez. Oh, it's difficult. I'm getting there. I think that's it. It's not moving anymore, no matter what I try. This is far enough. I don't know, maybe I should try next time with some rubber gloves. Maybe they stick more, but yeah, it's not moving anymore. Let's put this back in there. So after this, we're gonna have a fresh new engine, because we're actually not just doing this because we're overdue, but we are planning to head up 150 miles to Martinique again because it's the best place to provision, and we've been having real troubles getting proper cat food here. We've been cooking for them chicken and fish, mainly chicken because Pee-wee loves it. Pee-wee is actually the issue. So in Martinique we know we get a big variety of cat food, and we also get food for us because here it is a bit difficult. And then also we're picking up a part for our friends for the engine. It shouldn't take us longer than 24 hours to sail up to Martinique, and we're gonna find everything we need over there, because then our plan is to finally head down south. Okay. This is actually a 5-liter canister, so I know I told you guys it takes 4.5 liters of oil. It's actually taken 5.5 liters. I made a mistake. These come in 5, and then you get 1 extra, which you will have left some of it usually once everything's in there. So yeah, here we have 1 canister empty. So now I'm just gonna be very, very careful, so I don't wanna overfill it too much. I really like the color when you put it in. It looks almost like honey. And then when you take it out, it's almost pitch black. Now put about 5 liters and a little bit in there, and it should be okay. I hope I didn't overfill it. Let's take a look. Ooh, how lucky am I? You tell me. I think it's kind of perfect, but I still have to turn the engine on, let it cool off, and then try again a little bit later. But for now, it's good. You're bringing the flag down again.
These islands are so small that you just sail a couple of miles, we have to change flag.
Oh man, we lost all the progress we made. We wanted to go on top of the Tobago Keys because to approach San Ann is very difficult once you're down in St. Lucia, because the way the wind, the direction is just right on the nose. But we didn't anticipate that when you get to the Tobago Keys, if it's late, it's not a good idea to go in between.
It's very narrow, there are reefs left and right, and basically we're running out of sunlight, we're running out of daylight, and we're not really feeling comfortable going in between the reefs. I mean, they're probably marked, but the channel is 100 meters wide to go, and it's kind of snaking its way through the keys.
It's reef left and right, and I wouldn't do that with poor daylight. And also what happens if your engine stops? So that's it.
So much current.
Game
everywhere.
over. And so much current, yeah, about 2 knots current.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. It's better to lose like 4 hours than to lose your boat.
We had to go now on the weekend and check out on the weekend, because on Monday, well, on Tuesday really, there's bad weather coming through. So we said we're better gonna go now that it's quiet, and it's actually really nice and calm. There are hardly any waves so far. I know.
They're quite long, which is nice.
It can still
now it's a bit rolly, but it was better before.
We're already in between Union Island and Tobago Keys, which is open. It's very nice actually. But yeah, these places can get quite inhospitable as well, so you do want to time your island hopping from one island to the other quite well, because
While there is daylight, yeah.
And while there is daylight as well. I mean, it's all good, but maybe not in the Tobago Keys, because they're just so shallow and full of reefs. So
I mean, some people go on the outside, so
yeah, we actually contemplated going all the way to starboard on the outside, but there is a reef. It's called World's End Reef, and it is World's End Reef because it stretches so far out.
If you run into that, that's World's End, that's
It's
it.
like, it's crazy. The island is like at the end there, and you're basically right by the reef, and yeah, we would be kind of a lee shore situation as well, passing by. So it's better to pass by the other side. So if anything happens, we get pushed out at sea and not onto land.
It's probably the calmest that we ever sailed around this area. The couple of times we went up and down, it's always been a bit swelly and inhospitable gust coming in just around the corner. Yeah, like from like 7 knots to like 30 knots.
And Nico kept talking about wind gusts and that there are no wind gusts. And just as he stopped talking about wind gusts, we had a wind gust, and now the wind is gone, and the jagged rocks that he was so worried about are still right in front of us, and now the wind is shifting and it's bringing us directly onto the rocks, and now we have to turn the engine on. Ah.
The current is changing in our favor now. From here on, plain sailing.
A little bit rough. We have a few waves hitting the cockpit, and just, it was like a water ride there. I'm just gonna look around because I think a few things fell over. Like our fan is struggling. Oh, everything in the cockpit got completely drenched, including us, which is dripping. I'm looking for some extra clothes for Nick and me because we weren't wearing any weather gear. Man, it's crazy out there. We got about 28 knots of wind sustained, which was not in the weather forecast, and I'd say we have waves of almost 3 meters. It's just, they're almost from the beam, so they're hitting the side of the boat so hard, and then you got all of this spray, like somebody's just throwing buckets of water at you. I didn't mention we are in the notorious channel between St. Vincent and St. Lucia, and yeah, it's always a bit rougher around here. We already noticed that, and we thought we're gonna have a really comfortable ride. But as soon as we hit the channel, I mean, within 5-10 minutes, it just went crazy. So guys, I'm just gonna go back upstairs in case Nico needs a hand. And as well, he's drenched, he's freezing. Join us next week on Sailing SV CUBA as we continue on our 150-mile upwind sail towards Martinique, without realizing that the weather would be the least of our worries.